These are truly two of my favorite games of all time, The Witcher 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2. And it just so happens that they have two of the greatest open worlds we've ever seen in video games. It's hard to see anyone's best open world list and not see these two games on that list. And we could compare these games and probably spend 10 hours going through each facet, but I want to compare the worlds of these two games and decide which one is better. Maybe it's stupid, maybe it's dumb, we're gonna do it anyways, and we're gonna decide which has the better open world. Red Dead Redemption 2 versus The Witcher 3. So let's start and set the stage for these two games. And actually, before I forget, I did find the recording of my first couple hours playing Red Dead Redemption 2 for the first time. So if you're interested in that, I'm gonna post it in the next day or two of posting this video. So check that out if you want. But anyways, let's get back on track. Red Dead Redemption 2 versus Witcher 3. One of them, Red Dead Redemption 2, is based in the Wild West of the 1900s, or the 19th century, I should say. And it is during the end of an era of the outlaws, while Witcher 3 is very different. You're in the 13th century in a fantasy world where there's monsters, spells, potions, and everything in between. So very different worlds. So let's start with the world design. So this is how the worlds are designed and how they're set up for the player to enjoy them. So in Red Dead Redemption 2's case, the world is built for realism, I'd say, and almost immersion at the same time. It rewards you slowing down in the world and taking your time and traveling through nature on foot or on horse and noticing the small details in the world. That's really where the beauty of the game comes into play. While Witcher 3 does have a beautiful world, of course, but you don't get rewarded the same way by taking an hour to go across the map. You're rewarded in a different way with quests, which we'll get to later on. And if Red Dead Redemption 2 is built for realism and immersion, I'd say Witcher 3 is more built, it's more theatrical than it is like a simulation, because it's a universe that doesn't exist, but it's all, hypothetical. If you existed in that universe, how it would feel or how it would be. For world design, it could really be a toss-up, but for the sake of it, we got to pick one over the other. I'm going to choose Witcher 3. It feels like the world feels so natural in the way that you discover different towns and different parts of the world, while Red Dead Redemption 2 almost feels more like luck, where you can just not end up going to some areas over others. So world design, we're going Witcher 3. Next, we have what is probably my favorite category to rank these two games on, is atmosphere and immersion. So atmosphere in terms of the vibe of the game, how the kind of the energy that it radiates to you as a player, which sounds a little bit cringe-worthy, but stay with me. So in Red Dead Redemption 2's case, it's built in this realistic 19th century world that feels very human. It feels sometimes happy and warm when you're, traveling on your horse through a warm field on a sunny day, but then also can feel very harsh and realistic. While the Witcher 3 world is a lot more fantasy and I'd say almost like romantic, where it's too good to be true at times. It never really feels like that in Red Dead Redemption 2. Whether you're, attacking somebody or robbing a train or going through mountains, you feel the harshness of the world. And in Witcher 3, you just don't really feel that as much. Even if you're in a cave fighting a bunch of spiders, there's something about the world that feels more safe in the world. It's maybe the enemies feel dangerous, but not the world itself. Does that make sense? So for atmosphere and tone, I am actually going to go for Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. I think the atmosphere and the tone is truly extremely unique. Both these worlds are unique, but the atmosphere in Red Dead Redemption 2 is something that you just don't feel ever in any other game. In the immersion, it's a very different type of immersion, but it comes from these slow, methodical movements of traveling somewhere, or walking on foot, or doing something that you would in real life, but it's more rewarding because, you can't ride a horse and shoot people in real life. So our next completely made up category is going to be exploration and discovery in the world. I think both these games are top tier in promoting or encouraging the player to explore and discover cool things in the world. But I also think this is a slam dunk for Witcher 3. Like I said, both these games, top tier, but Witcher 3, might be the greatest open world of all time for this. It's a massive open world, but at every corner it encourages you to look more and more for Witcher gear, for weapons, for, I don't know, a new alchemist, a new NPC, a new merchant, and it's just endless amounts of things that will keep you busy for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, where it's almost impossible to completely find and discover everything. Red Dead Redemption 2 does a very good job as well, but not to the same extent. Not every corner you go around is going to have a new item or new quest in Red Dead Redemption 2. When you go into a new Witcher 3 world, when it's not cleared out whatsoever, it's almost impossible not to run into 50 different things within the first couple days of playing the game. So I'm going to give that category to Witcher 3, but obviously both are amazing. Our next category is going to be NPCs, non-playable characters, because I feel like this is a pretty important category for open world. And we'll tie this into towns and cities as well. So in Witcher 3's case, it is filled with people and NPCs, and it makes it feel very alive, especially in cities like Novigrad. But if an NPC doesn't have a quest to give you, then they can feel pretty lifeless in Witcher 3, which is, respectable. Like, you can't do everything. The devs can't think and do everything. That's why Red Dead 2 definitely has the edge in NPCs, because I feel like Red Dead 2 in Rockstar is known now, or become infamous for freakishly realistic NPCs where you can follow them around and they have their whole own routine. You can pretty much kill, talk to, antagonize, greet, or fight any NPC in the entire world, and they have their own voice dialogue, they have their own personality, and it's freakishly realistic. So Red Dead 2 definitely has the edge there. And in terms of towns and cities comparison, I love both in both games. They're so good. Witcher 3 has a lot more smaller villages, and then of course it has its bigger cities like Novigrad, Crow's Purge, Tucson, etc. And then Red Dead 2 has less towns and then the one big city. But I think we have to give that slightly to Red Dead 2 as well. Like, Saint Denis is, I think, to this day, the craziest city I've ever seen in a game. Like, it's beautiful, and there's so much going on down alleyways, different NPCs fighting, police chasing random people through the streets, and you don't get that quite. And to be fair, Witcher 3 is an older game than Red Dead 2, but this category, NPCs, definitely going to Red Dead 2. So the next category is going to be story integration. So this is how the story is kind of integrated into the world and vice versa. Because you play some games and the world might be cool, but you'll be like, this world and the main story and side quests have nothing to do with each other. It just feels very distant. But in this case, both these games do a great job. However, I think Witcher 3 has the edge on this. Red Dead Redemption 2, the world is amazing. But I noticed that a lot of the world just simply doesn't feel connected to the main story, which promotes exploration and discovery, but it doesn't have that same connection. While Witcher 3, it feels like wherever you go, there is something that's going to be connected to Geralt or his past. And something's going to come up that's connected to one of the main characters, whether it's to Geralt himself, or a friend of Geralt, or whoever it is. But I'm going to give story integration definitely to Witcher 3. So the final category I have, which is very broad, is beauty, which can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people in a lot of different ways, but comparing the beauty of both these worlds. So in Witcher 3's case, it's not as graphically as enhanced as Red Dead 2, but there's no feeling like entering a new region on your horse Roach in Witcher 3 and seeing castles in the distance, seeing a sunset, sunflowers, and then NPCs walking around, and then you stumble into a new quest. There's no feeling like that. In Red Dead 2's case, I don't think any developer could do a better job at simulating the natural world in the late 19th century. Like, I think it's actually borderline impossible because it feels so real, it looks so real. So in terms of beauty, man, I think we have to give it to Red Dead 2. Remember, Red Dead 2 is 3 years newer than Witcher 3, so graphically it is going to look better, but maybe if Witcher 3 was made 3 years later, maybe it would have looked just as good. So beauty's gonna go Red Dead 2, but they're both obviously amazing looking. Oh man, okay, that means we have a 3-3 tie, I believe. Okay, tiebreaker, replayability. replayability is going to go to Witcher 3. So I think Witcher 3 is going to win it slightly. Because Red Dead 2, it's a game that you can kind of finish everything that you have to do, and then it does, you can finish it faster, and then it kind of becomes a big world with NPCs. Well, Witcher 3, there's just more to do. Whether you like it or not, it just feels like there's more, it's more full, if that makes sense. So Witcher 3 is gonna have the slight edge, and honestly, and maybe in 20 years, like I said, they remake Witcher 3, or Witcher 4 in a couple of years is gonna look even better, feel more alive, and that's gonna be a whole nother comparison. But I'm also probably biased because Witcher 3 is my fucking favorite game of all time. But either way, both these worlds you have to play in. They're very different, but also absolute cinema. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to post my first couple hours of Red Dead 2 playthrough, which was actually pretty recent, way later than it should have been. So check that out if you want to. Peace out. See you next time.